Hi, and welcome to Solo Adventures
Together,
the podcast where we, a married couple, Nurse and Dooder, send each other out on excursions to go experience the wide world and then report back on our findings.
Yes, the excursions are usually very fun.
Yeah, fun.
Fueled with colors and, running around or doing
normally
something
that's what I
exciting.
try to give to you.
Yeah. Well, I try to give it to you, too.
Yeah, and,
Maybe you come home with something.
Sometimes they turn out, and sometimes they don't. And I have a feeling, because we've talked about it a little tiny bit in advance, that this one was not what we expected.
Well,
not what I expected, at least.
I did not look at what was described. You just told me it was a little fun excursion, a little fun looking at the stuff. So I don't know what you read.
Should I actually? You know what? I set my phone down because I was like, I don't want to be distracted. But on my phone is where it has the description of the event.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh, it's so far away. Oh, here we. Okay, I got it. Ugh. So, the event description said, celebrate International Day of the Seal with wildlife jewels at a special EYES, EYES, which is an acronym for it's a program about helping animals.
Okay.
Right? I don't remember the specific on the program. At a special EYES Field Day in La Jolla featuring coastal wildlife observation. Join us for a special EYES Field Day in La Jolla celebrating International Day of the Seal. Okay. Participants will explore seals, seabirds, and coastal wildlife while learning about responsible wildlife viewing and how structured wildlife observation and data collection can help support coastal wildlife conservation. Students from SDSU's Marine Ecology and Biology Student Association will also help document structured field observations as a part of the Wildlife Jewels coastal monitoring efforts.
Well, that is, it's not wrong. All of that is true.
Mm-hmm. Now, the pictures associated gave a youthful impression. It was a free event.
Sure.
After school time. It started at 4:30. So I had assumed that there would probably be families, kids, it's Day of the Seal, so we're going to
seal it all.
Look at the seals and the birds and learn about them.
Well, I will say, in La Jolla, at that location, there were a lot of families, a lot of kids, a lot of international people, a lot of different cultures and languages,
tourists.
A lot of tourists looking at all the animals, because I guess I didn't realize it's a pretty big tourist spot to look at all the wildlife there on the cliffs. But in our group, there were 6 San Diego
State.
SDSU.
Yeah, state.
SDSU students, one of which was a PhD student that was leading the other students. He was like the coordinator between the school and the nonprofit.
He probably headed a research lab.
Sure. And then there was the leader or the creator of the nonprofit, Wildlife Jewels. And then there was me. The one civilian.
The one member of the public.
The one member of the public that was there to just have some fun looking at wildlife.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you would like it because you have shown. So, based on the description of one, when we went to the zoo.
Sure.
We went on that.
The bus.
On the bus. And she was talking about the conservation efforts. And you had found that very interesting.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I think that this would be cool. I really thought that you'd enjoy learning about the local wildlife. Because you've taken an interest, especially with gardening.
Yeah.
You've taken much more of an interest to our backyard wildlife.
Sure, there's lots of lizards and bugs and bees and birds and all kinds of animals back there.
And so I was like, okay, well, why don't,
Well,
I
you
think
know that
you'd
I love...
be interested.
I love animals. I love, seeing animals, seeing them in their, as natural of a habitat as they can be in with our human intervention of living on this planet. And just seeing, how they act and learning more about them and how we can... Oh, stunt bird's falling off the back of the chair. And seeing how, like, if there's anything we can do or not do to help them continue to live their simple lives of getting food, eating food, and pooping and sleeping.
And having babies.
Having babies. Taking care of those babies.
Yeah.
This was not that. This was a slightly depressing, very sobering jaunt through looking at animals and being like, oh, there's a dead one.
So just take me through the day, because it was at 4:30, so it's kind of, we're post daylight savings currently.
Yes, the sun was out the whole time.
So the sun was up.
It was an hour and a half schedule. And so basically what happened is I was there. The instructions on where they met was just at this area. So I didn't know how to find them initially. So I kind of walked around. I was early. I got really lucky with a parking spot, actually. So I was like, oh, man, this is going to be great. Good car karma. Right as I was driving up, I got a spot right next to the beach. No time limit on it. So I was like, oh, good. This is a great start. It's a great start. And then I walked over there and I wandered around for a while and I was like, all right, how do I find these people? Are they wearing shirts? Is someone going to be having a sign? Anything. There were no landmarks besides the lifeguard tower. They're like, it will be north of the lifeguard tower, which is everything. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw a lady wearing a Wildlife Jewels shirt, hat, and bag.
Ah, you were like,
that must be them.
Lady.
That must be them. So I walked over there. It's a little bit awkward. I kind of just stood there. They didn't notice me for a while, and they're like, "So are you part of the group?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, is your name on this list?" Even if it's not, you can just write it in, whatever. And my name was on the list, so I checked off my name. And then basically, the organizer, the leader of the nonprofit, started explaining kind of what they do and watching the birds and the seals and monitoring their activities and seeing everything that's kind of weird along the coast of San Diego area. And they talked to the college students and they're like, all right, so you guys are going to be collecting data. You're going to be counting birds. You're going to be counting seals. You're going to be counting, what else did they count? Trash. They counted squirrels. They counted different types of birds. They counted, I don't know, maybe a couple of other things. I wasn't paying that much attention to what they were doing. I was not involved in the counting.
It's so interesting because it's like bringing me back to when I was doing data studies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And even though what we were doing was in tide pools, at the end of the day, they would be like, okay, who saw, what birds did we see? And then you'd have to sit and think and be like, somebody would be like, yeah, I saw a red-tailed hawk.
Sure.
Or I saw a handful of gulls. And most of the beaches we were on, there wasn't that many birds there. And you would like recant, like, yeah, I saw a harbor seal, and all of that would get written down as notes for the day.
Yeah.
And or if you found a dead bird, and then how much trash too. And that's what reminded me. I was like, oh right, we used to do that.
No, I was talking to the PhD student. I was talking to him a little bit about counting stuff and research, and about how you used to do that. And he was like, oh yeah, I hate counting stuff. And I was like, I mean, yeah, it makes, because the birds are flying around. How do you count them?
Yeah, same with fish when you're swimming.
Yeah. And even worse, they were, well, probably how you're supposed to do it, but in my mind, it seems like, how do you coordinate two people? They're like, all right, you two people are going to be counting the birds. You two people are going to be counting the seals and seal pups. You two people are going to be specifically only counting the seagulls. And then the squirrels were in there and all of that. So then we kind of walked around to the cove. So the place that we went is called
Child's Cove?
Child's Cove or Child's Pool.
Child's Pool, yeah.
Child's Pool, which was it's a protected cove that has a walking pathway where you can basically observe, almost like a zoo, because the beach is closed from December 15th to May 15th for seal pup time, right? They get to have babies and stuff. But then it opens back up in May, so that's a whole issue we'll get to later. So we went over there. There's all these seals. There'll be pictures in the description if you want to look. There'll be pictures. A bunch of seals laying around, a bunch of pelicans, a bunch of seagulls with their nests and stuff. And it was really cool to see how they live. You know, they're all lazy, obviously. They're just laying there or walking around. And we saw some cormorants super close up at first, and I just kept asking questions to the I don't know what to call her, the
nonprofit lady.
The nonprofit lady. I didn't catch her name. I don't remember her name.
Why don't we just call her the nonprofit director?
Nonprofit director. The director. Yes, the director from now on. So I was asking her questions, and she was very, very eager to answer the questions because, you know, obviously they are in need of volunteers and stuff. So she's probably trying to recruit me in some way.
Right.
And she was kind of describing that they've been observing kind of weird nature in some of the birds, that they're like kind of starving themselves or not eating.
So
and
just unusual behavior?
Unusual behavior, and then they're dying.
Okay.
And a lot of them are not nesting, or their nests are getting destroyed from natural or not natural causes, which is why the beach, when it opens up, all of the seagulls that are nesting they nest like just on the beach, just on the sand.
Yeah, on the sand.
Just anywhere. And the beach opens up, and what happens? People just are there, and then where do the seagulls go? They have to go find a new place to be.
Yeah, how do you move your eggs as a seagull?
So 6 months, or I guess 7 months out of the year, the beach is open, and the other 5 months it's closed. And it's a small beach. Like, I have a picture of let me see if I can find the picture of the beach. It's like just a little, you could probably fit 20 people across. And
yeah, so it kind of begs the question, why open it?
Why reopen it? Yeah, like it could be.
Why not just leave the beach for the seals?
Well, and the other thing is like there's like 4 or 5 other beaches within walking distance, like 100 feet away, that's open all the time.
Yeah.
So why this particular beach needs to reopen? Like, just keep it closed. And I took too many pictures. There's a lot of pictures of the squirrels. Squirrels are super cute. I don't know if you know that or not. So this is the cove, right? So here's where. So there's. Let's see. This will be one of the pictures, just of the wide shot of the cove. And you can see the seals laying there, and this is where people were standing, and then you kind of can go around the back, and there's a little walking path to go to the other side.
Well, that's wider than 20 people.
Laying down, head to toe.
Okay, yeah, well, you didn't say that.
But it doesn't even look like that good of a beach to swim at, you know? Like, there's a bunch of rocks right there. Maybe
I would agree. It's maybe...
Because people were snorkeling...
It's about 100 feet long.
Yeah, maybe 100 feet. Because people were snorkeling at the other beaches and swimming in the water and all of that, and that's fine. You know, it's a beautiful beach. It's a beautiful beach with the cliffs and with the bird poop everywhere.
Yeah, cliffs and bird poop. Okay.
Cliffs and bird poop, yeah. What was the question?
What did you do?
Oh, right. I didn't do anything. I was just asking questions, wandering around. I followed everybody.
Right, but was there a rhyme or reason to the day? I mean, you were there for an hour and a half, so...
We looked at stuff and observed how they acted and talked about how they were acting. But all of the college students were off. I didn't talk to any of them, really, besides the PhD student a tiny bit. And they were basically... I think the overall goal of that excursion was to solidify the partnership with San Diego State.
Okay.
San Diego State with a nonprofit to help them collect data, to help get a grant to do a study on why the birds are getting sick and dying. And another objective was to document any injured or dead or weird acting animals, which there were dead birds. So if you want to, there are pictures in the description of some dead birds.
Yeah.
It's very sad. It's very sad. I don't know if they died quick or slow, but they are just a pile of feathers. And there's a couple of cormorants, a pelican that we saw, and there was another injured pelican that we couldn't tell if there was a hook in its leg, or if it got bit by something, or if it fell, or if it got attacked by another pelican. Who knows? But it had like a wound on its leg that we could kind of see from 50 feet away. So, I don't know. It was sad, but eye-opening. You know, it was something I'd never experienced. Growing up, I never really looked out for injured animals, or, you know, I didn't seek out animals in nature. I seeked out activities in nature, right? We'd go frolic in the trees, or dig a hole at the beach.
It was more about playing, less about observing.
Right. Like, we'd see birds and be like, oh, there's a bunch of birds. Let's run through the group of them and see what they do.
Yeah.
And they all fly away, obviously. But no, we walked around and we looked. Like, I guess I didn't realize this. That cove there is one of the biggest populations of cormorants in the world. They on those cliffs they nest. There were hundreds, thousands. There were so many, and they had eggs and they had babies and they were feeding them.
Yeah, you got a nice long video of
It's perfectly average length. It's one bird feeding. It's one bird, and they stick their whole head inside their mouth.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's very crazy.
Well, and I had told you, I was like, well, because cormorants are a pretty crazy bird.
Yeah, when we looked them up yesterday, there were a couple of videos that were like, cormorants, the most hated bird in the world. And meanwhile, I left at that event yesterday, and I was like...
You told me on the couch, you were like, I think cormorants are my new favorite bird. They're so cool.
And then those videos, they're like, worst bird ever? Everyone hates this bird?
Why does everybody hate cormorants?
And I'm like, what? Why? What do they do?
We never watched why people hate
And never
them.
will I, okay? Slander. I observed those birds firsthand. There was one 2 feet away from me going, wah, wah.
Yeah, defending its nest.
Defending its nest.
Defending its nest because they like to steal it from each other's nests.
Yeah. And there were also seagulls trying to do something. I don't know what they're trying to
fish.
do. Oh, right, the fish. Yeah, and they do the noise, you know, they're like, or they bite them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, and pelicans too, because pelicans are mean, honestly. They'll eat seagulls.
Really?
Yeah. Like, especially the smaller ones.
Well,
and like a pelican, like they'll eat ducks. If there's like domesticated, like something, or wild ducks. But if a pelican if it can fit it in its mouth, it will try.
So there was another, speaking of pelicans, so I was asking about the pelicans, and the director had mentioned on their weeks of observing the pelicans there, they were seemingly acting out of the ordinary by kind of pooling near the shore, you know, kind of just hanging out in the water in a big group, but also like wandering around the seals on the beach, kind of just wandering. And I don't know why that was weird, but she had mentioned that they usually only hang out on the cliffs by themselves. Like they're not socializing with the other birds or with the seals in a social way. Like you said, they kill them sometimes.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know enough about seabirds to know why that would be weird. But she was mentioning that it wasn't only the cormorants that were starving, it was also the pelicans. So in different sites around the coast. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about the situation. I don't know enough about the intentions. I don't know enough about anything. All I know is that there were dead birds. So
well,
I don't know.
More live birds.
Well, I don't know if that's just normal. That like it could just be normal that there's 3 out of 10,000 birds are dead. Sure, at least on the shore.
Okay, let's be so for real. One, and I know that this is kind of a callous take, but nature is not very nice.
Don't break my heart.
Okay, nature isn't nice.
I know.
And these birds are wild birds, and they do not have
They do what they
veterinary
need to
access.
survive. Yeah, no,
And like there is a certain amount of, yes, humans have caused a lot of issues with wildlife, but birds, they'll get hurt, they'll get whatever, and they don't have.
I mean, there's no way.
It is just based on will they make it, whether or not they survive, and if an infection takes hold, it's not hard for birds to go down.
Well, and that's the thing too is, and we were talking about this before, like with the birds or with the seals, if they are injured and they do end up getting rescued, they don't usually go back to nature.
Yeah,
they either go to a bird sanctuary or get a new job or something, and then like the seals, they might go learn how to be a trained seal on, at the
because you mentioned that they said if the sea lions specifically, if there's an injured sea lion, then you call SeaWorld because they have a sea lion rescue. And that's most likely because they do sea lion shows, right? Yeah. And so they have veterinarians who are very good at taking care of sea lions.
Yeah, and we've already discussed our mixed feelings on SeaWorld. But if they save the animals, to an extent, it's not a bad thing.
I'm still not giving them money.
They're not paying the seals?
What?
What are you talking?
Well, we're not going to go to SeaWorld.
Us giving them money. Gotcha. I thought you were saying that they're not paying the seals.
I mean, I don't think they've got a union gig going on, but no.
They're still not paying the sea lions.
They're not. I mean, I don't think
that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, what? Paid their weight in fish?
Yeah,
Gross.
They pay the dolphins. Why aren't they paying the sea lions? The dolphins, they go gambling every weekend.
I'm not giving SeaWorld money, is what I'm saying.
I agree. And I really, really, really wanted to go to that stupid thing that they're doing with the world famous Chihuahua beauty contest that they're doing at SeaWorld.
With the taco thing?
Yeah.
The taco day, which has all you can eat tacos for $99, and it grants you free admission
for the rest of
the year, which tells me how desperate SeaWorld is.
Still not going, but I would like...
$99 is not enough for all day, all you can eat tacos.
How many tacos would that be if you bought, let's see, how many tacos would you need to eat?
If we say maybe they're street tacos, this is so many tacos.
Let's say that they're street tacos, but they're elevated price because they're at SeaWorld, right? We're talking Disneyland prices.
They'd be like $4 for one of the little street tacos.
I'd probably say $5 or $6 to be, right?
Okay.
Say $5 to be easy.
So for 3 of the tacos, it's like $16. That feels like SeaWorld price.
That's hard math. Can it be 15?
15. Okay.
Sorry, I went to college. I didn't graduate. Okay.
So $5 a taco.
$5 a taco. So it's $100. If it's $100,
it's $100. It's 20 tacos.
20 tacos.
Which I would say
20 tacos this big.
Plus free admission to SeaWorld for a year.
I probably would still try to eat more than 20 tacos. But also, they probably wouldn't. Well, they'd probably be good tacos. They wouldn't get bad tacos.
It's like I think they were doing like a whole, like it was a festival, like a vendor thing.
It's 2 days, I think.
Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
But it's the Chihuahua. I really wanted to see the silly Chihuahua beauty contest.
Is it dogs? Like the Chihuahua dogs?
Yes, it's world famous.
I don't know.
They dress up the Chihuahuas and they
they do costumes.
Yeah, it's a costume. It might not be a beauty maybe it's a costume contest. I forget exactly how it was phrased.
Cute, though.
But they they bring them down the catwalk and they show off their little thing and like that. I would go just for that. But could it be anywhere else, please? Do it outside of SeaWorld and protest.
In the future, dog beauty contest. If I find one, I'm sending you.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't want to go with me? That'd be super fun to go together. What am I going to do? Show you 100 pictures of cute dogs, and you're gonna have all the FOMO in the world.
Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, I pet that one. I pet that one. I pet all the dogs.
They told me not to pet the dogs, but I pet the dogs.
That one.
They told me not to pet the dogs.
That one. That one I didn't pet. I pet that one. I wanted to pet that one, but it was a little scared, so I didn't pet that one. But I pet that one, and I pet that one.
That one bit somebody.
Yeah.
Wasn't me, though. I didn't pet that one.
No, I didn't pet that one. He was scared.
was wearing a sign that said, "Don't pet me, I will bite."
We went to this plant nursery, and it had they had a bunch of farm animals. They had a bunch of livestock. They had,
right, yeah.
They had donkeys and ducks and chickens and goats,
mm-hmm.
and the donkeys had signs that said, pet
at your own risk.
Pet at your own risk. I will, donkeys may bite you. Donkeys might
stick
bite
your fingers in the cage.
And and the donkey was looking like, oh, I want to get pet. And I was like, buddy, I'm not petting you.
You got strong teeth, donkey.
It's not worth risking getting your finger bit.
You know who we did pet, though?
The goat.
The goat.
We were petting the goats.
Which one? There were two goats in there. One of them was kind of laying away, but the other one was like, please pet me.
She was loving the scratches.
Oh my God. I wish that they had softer fur, but they're wildlife goats and they don't get soft fur unless we maybe put
Those are domesticated goats.
What did I say?
Wild.
Right. Domesticated livestock.
Yeah.
They live outside mostly. Yeah. But you know what? God, part of me wants a goat, but I know that a goat would not want me.
A goat would want you, but our yard is not really.
The goat could live on the hill. It could eat all the succulents and the tree shoots. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the watermelons.
And the watermelons.
And the strawberries.
Yeah.
And the trash.
Okay, well, so I guess...
you're bringing me back on track?
I'm going to try and bring you back on track. So education-wise, they were learning how to count birds. Did you learn how to count birds too? Or did they do that away from
They separated from the group. I was basically with the director solo, following her around like a dog.
Lost puppy.
I was a lost puppy. I was a lost puppy. They were like, all right, yeah, now we're going to head over to the cove. And everyone's like, all right, yeah, we'll head over to the cove. And I was like, which way is the cove? Don't make me walk first. I was in the front. And I was like, where am I going? Why am I leading the group? Put me in the back. I don't know where I'm going. The cove could be 10 feet from here. It could be 200 feet from here. It could be a mile from here. I don't know. We did get to the cove eventually.
Yeah, was it 10 feet or?
It was the next beach.
So you had to walk around the beach.
We walked, we walked on the footpath. There's this whole cliff situation, lots of overhang that you can look and see, and lots of rocks in the ocean, so we walked over to the cove is where people were down on the beach, and there were some surfers actually, which was weird because there's way too many rocks in the ocean right there. But that was one of the big established bird hangouts. Right?
Was on those rocks. And then on the beach that was closed, another beach that was closed right now, but for sea lions instead of the seals. Mm-hmm. Right? Because the seals are spotted. And harbor seals.
Harbor seals are spotted, and they were, it was funny because the way that she told me to tell them apart, besides one's bigger than the other one, mm-hmm. is the way that they lay next to each other. So the harbor seals, there's space. They leave 3 to 10 feet between them. They don't like to touch. Mm-hmm. And the sea lions are sandwiched together like a Scooby-Doo sandwich sideways.
Yeah.
It's all they're all just in a line, a perfect line on the beach.
Someday I'll take you to go see elephant seals. And they're huge, crazy, gigantic. But they pile on top of each other.
Where are those?
Well, they're...
Elephant seals?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see them down here. I'd have to look. I mean, most of the time when I had viewed elephant seals, it was more in the Bay Area. But
okay, because I've seen the seals in the Bay Area, but I don't know which ones they were.
Yeah,
the ones that hang out on the pier.
Yeah,
they make noise. And they smell terrible.
Yeah, and they're huge.
Man, I don't even get me started on the stench.
Yeah,
we walked. So we after the cove.
If your diet's entirely raw fish,
not only that
and crustaceans.
So the harbor seals. We couldn't smell them. We walked over to the cove. Stench got a little bit worse for the sea lions. But then we walked a little bit more closer to that big rock with all the birds on it. Mm-hmm. And I think it was all the bird poop and throw up and maybe some dead smell. But it was pungent.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of you couldn't breathe.
It singes your nose.
It was a thick air. It was a thick air that smelled very much like
and
I was hanging out in the middle of a chicken coop.
Yeah, there's a lot of ammonia. And the bird poop, lots of ammonia.
Call it piss.
Well, it's a kind of a pee and poop combo.
Pupe.
Yeah.
Pooep.
Yeah, they just do both at the same time.
You know what a time saver. You know, for all the stuff, they're busy. They got to save time.
That's why it's all liquid and then it solidifies.
So on the way over there,
Right.
There's signs that say "Do not feed the wildlife." Right, obviously everywhere, because you're not supposed to do that. Same as like feeding the bears. Don't feed the bears. There's squirrels everywhere, absolutely begging for food the whole time. There's a sign that says "Do not feed the squirrels or birds," specifically. Right, I was standing right next to it, and this lady kind of walks over and like has a handful of nuts and like starts throwing nuts, and I was like, "Hey, the sign says not to feed the squirrels and stuff," and she's like, "Oh, no, it's just an almond," and I was like, "Well, I don't. I mean, it's just what the sign says. I'm not, do whatever you want, I guess. I'm not the police, but you look like I didn't say." You look like an idiot standing here in front of like I should have taken a picture of her feeding the squirrels in front of the "Don't feed the squirrel" sign.
Yeah.
But I think I discouraged her from grabbing another handful, and she walked away. Probably to feed the squirrels.
Do you know why they don't want you to feed them?
Well, they become reliant, right?
Yes. And so they become reliant, but they also get way more friendly. And so they're more likely to come up to humans. There's multiple reasons. One, it's not great if the squirrels are reliant on people for food.
Well, and a lot of the processed food is poisonous to them.
Right. And it's also not their natural diet.
No, so they might have weird poops.
So, that squirrel is not encountering almond in the wild.
I will say they were very cute, and I understand.
The desire.
The
yes.
desire to Disney princess your way to befriending a squirrel and kissing it and turning into a prince. I understand.
Right.
There were people trying to actively do that.
So here's the other side of the coin. Wild animals carry diseases.
And you're feeding them from your hand, your fleshy hand.
And they do not have don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? If they're scared.
Or
scratch. Or whatever. Just don't be handling wildlife because you don't know what it has transmission from squirrel to human.
Who knows?
Squirrel might have.
I mean, the most common one is what, rabies?
Rabies, yes, is common.
Not common, but the one that's most well known.
Rabies is, I would say, the most iconic disease that you might encounter.
Foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
Melting brain.
Well, and also, when animals have rabies, they fear humans less.
Oh yeah, they're way more assertive and way more.
Yeah, they come right up. So don't.
They're like, that nut tastes great, but also your hand tastes
great.
Tastes
really
pretty
yummy.
good too. I might eat some of
Yum.
it. But I'll put some pictures of the squirrels in the description. I got pretty close.
The squirrels are real cute.
I got real close to them. Some of them are wrestling. I got a video of some that were fighting, but I started recording too late, and they were wrestling. It was real cute.
Your video of the cormorant going, bah, was really good.
Yeah. Well, so after the nut debacle, right? We walked over to the rock with the things on it, with the birds. Then even further is where the cormorants are nesting on these cliffs.
Okay.
And there's you can't even see the cliff because there's so many birds.
Because of the birds.
So there's so many birds on this cliff nesting and flying in and out. And we watched another video about cormorants in La Jolla, conveniently, about how they partner for years.
Yeah,
babies,
they normally pick a partner for a couple of years.
Take turns finding food and finding stuff to feed their little babies. And
I just wanted to show you how they swim underwater, and then that video ended up explaining a lot.
Yeah.
About the cormorant.
And it's super cool they can swim underwater.
Yeah.
And they really tuck in and use their feet. There were some cute-ass cormorant babies, and that's what it says on my notes. Cute-ass cormorant babies. And for the longest time, because of Pokemon, I thought it was cramorants. But that's the name of the Pokemon.
That's the name of the... You said it earlier,
cormorants.
and I was like, cormorant.
They're cormorants, not cramorants. But cramorant is also a water flying type based on a cormorant, but it is blue.
Yeah, and not black. So there was...
They're not black, they're green.
Yeah, they are...
Very, 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 very dark green.
So...
Yes.
I told you there was like cormorant fishing that came up, and you're like, oh, is that what you want to, like, that's what you want to show me was them fishing? And I was like, no, that's different. So, because there's lots of different types of cormorants around the world. It's kind of like egrets, where there's different egrets in different regions.
Really?
Yes.
And they all have the same properties, like swimming underwater and...
I mean, yeah,
nesting on cliffside.
within reason. Okay. And, you know, especially with seabirds, because they can migrate through islands, right? Sure. They fly to islands and you know, or travel on the ocean, and they, you know, their populations spread like that. So you've got cormorant populations around the world of different species, and in parts of I want to say it's Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Local fishermen will train cormorants to fish for them. And they have it set up so that they have like a band that goes around the neck of the cormorant that prevents them from swallowing fish. And so the fishermen will have this trained cormorant that goes out and it catches fish, and then it comes back and then it barfs the fish up for the fishermen.
Interesting.
And then...
Don't they just get small fish, though?
Not necessarily.
Because their mouths are pretty small. Well, maybe they're bigger in Southeast Asia.
Well, they're pretty big. Yeah.
Okay, because these birds were about, I don't know, it seemed like they're about 1.5 feet tall.
Yeah, they're like, the ones that are around here are like...
Yeah, they're pretty small.
They're not particularly large.
Chicken-sized.
Chicken-sized. There are some... We can watch another video. They're pretty big.
Oh my God, more education?
You know, it's so funny because every time I'm like, no, I want to show you a video about him. And you're like, ugh. You're like, I don't want to learn about, and you're like, ugh, what, an educational video? And then every time you're like, this is so cool. I had no idea. Nature's crazy.
Look,
you're like, that's fascinating.
Let me tell you how to deal with it, okay? Do not announce that you're going to don't be like, I need to show you this educational video. Just put it on. You know how many times I just mindlessly put on a YouTube video and don't think about it, and I'm like, oh, wow, cool. And if that was just a more interesting and educational video, sure, I'd probably pay more attention to it. So, like,
but you have this moment of defiance where you're like, I don't want to learn.
Yeah, it's my rebellious nature. I'm a rebel. I don't want to learn. That's like, for losers.
This is so interesting. I'm like, yeah, I tried to tell you. Because earlier, we were in the car, and you were like, oh, man, the cormorants are really cool. And I was like, yeah, I should show you. I was like, they swim underwater. Mm-hmm. They're really impressive. You should watch a video of it. You're like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm like, okay.
I trust you. I don't need to see that.
You just told me that this was your new favorite fucking bird. And I'm like, yeah, and they have other cool stuff about them. Let me show you. And you're like, I don't know about that.
It makes me want to start a new Pokemon game and get Cramorant as my starter and have fun with him and get more water birds.
Can you have it as a starter?
No. I could find it in the game, though. I don't remember which game that is. I think it must be...
I would guess Gen 5.
It must be... I think it's like the what's it called? Sapphire? Diamond, Pearl, maybe? Platinum, maybe. I think it might be Platinum. That era. I don't know what... that might be Generation 5, actually.
Yeah.
Or 4. I don't remember.
That's right.
Yeah, you are. Wow. Look at you. So smart.
Anyways, I hope that, because every now and again, when we've had a unmarked candy, and then I will put on a nature documentary.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know what it is, and the last one you put on was like,
it was just
animals hunting lizards. And I was like, I don't want to watch them die. Yeah. I don't want to watch. I would like sure.
It was like,
if they get away, that's cool. But like, no, they are getting strangled by mountains of snakes.
That one in particular, I had watched that previously, and I was like, oh, this is not the one.
Oh, it's like, oh, there's one snake chasing it, and then it's like, nope, 50 more snakes are coming out of the rocks.
So that was about these lizards that they hatch from under the sand.
Right, and then
And
they
then
come
they
up
have
and
to
they have
they
to go
come up
like get
and
it
then
to
they
the
have to
top of the
go
rocks.
get to the top of the rocks. And between where their eggs hatch and where they need to go,
Thousands of snakes
just wanting to eat them. And up the rocks, they're like fighting snakes off left, right. And the snakes are so fast.
Well, luckily the snakes are also pretty stupid, and
Yeah,
it's almost like a cartoon kerfuffle where they all kind of ball up, and then the lizard gets away, and the snakes are like
biting each
they're like,
other.
"Where's the lizard?"
Yeah, it's a very Scooby-Doo-esque. And these lizards are pro skedaddlers. Like,
Yeah, they can run up rocks and jump and fucking float in the air, and the snakes can also climb rocks. Like, yes, it was very interesting, but it was way too intense for the moment. I really wanted to just watch like here are some whales in their natural environment. Look at them make songs, and they were like, that'd be nice. Instead of like, and then the lizard just didn't get away, and this one's dead.
This one's dead, eaten by 15 snakes.
Don't worry, we named it and called it Sarah. Before, we're like, let's watch Sarah's journey from sand to top of rocks.
Ooh. And then, you think they're going to make it, and then they don't.
Then they don't. What
And they showed probably 3 of them not making it before they finally showed the one that did. So you're like, oh my God.
So it was a quarter% chance to live. Anyway, I do enjoy the nature documentaries. I do. But I would say my biggest takeaway from all of this is that there is a lot of nature preservation action happening in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And there are so many nonprofits doing a lot to do their part in trying to get the right people to do the right thing, right? Because this particular nonprofit doesn't really have that much power or money or people, but they have good intentions, I think. It seems like they want to make sure that the birds live.
Right.
They're not trying to intervene and be like, we need to build them a new habitat or like take them out of here and put them in a better place. They're just like, I think the birds are getting sick and we should probably look into that. But they don't have the resources or money to do it. So they've been doing fundraising, and I think they just trained some of their volunteers on animal rescue, because they do have containers to transport animals from beach to hospital. Mm-hmm. But at that particular beach, she was saying that like there's nothing they can do, right? Because there's fences and there's city ordinances to not go on the beach at all.
Right.
So like it was good to hear that, and not nobody's looking, I'm going to go jump and grab that pelican, and save it. I'm going to save that pelican. Because there was an injured pelican that we couldn't do it. We could just look at. It was laying there, dying with an injured leg. Probably couldn't fly. And we were just all kind of like, well, that is a dying bird.
That's the life of a pelican.
Yeah, life of a pelican. And I don't want it to be like a downer to be like, oh, all these animals are acting weird. Like, obviously, most of the animals were acting normal. We got to the cliffs where the pelicans are supposed to hang out. Hundreds of pelicans. Just being pelicans.
No.
Just chilling.
No shortage of pelicans.
No shortage of pelicans.
Was there room for more pelicans?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was plenty of room for pelicans. I'm not sure how they nest or like where they sleep. Do they just kind of sleep there?
They just kind of hang out.
Okay.
They just find a perch.
So either like that smaller group of pelicans that was, in the director's opinion, acting bizarrely, was outliers, or maybe they're evolving. Maybe they're learning something new.
Maybe they're just teenage pelicans.
Maybe they're teenage pelicans being rebellious. That's what I would do. I'd go over to the seals and be like, oh, what? Were you sleeping?
You know what I recently learned? That fact about dolphins smacking around pufferfish to get high?
To get high.
It's specifically teenage dolphins that do it.
Dang.
It's specifically teenage
They know what
dolphins.
they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They handle the pufferfish very expertly, because they'll go bat them around and like bite them a little bit. And most of the, not every time, but most of the time, the pufferfish does survive.
Yeah.
Regardless of how great it feels afterwards.
They heal up for another round.
And like these dolphins, they're teenage dolphins are doing it, and they leave their pod, and then they gather in a little gang of.
They sneak out.
They sneak out.
They go get high.
Teenage dolphins go get high, and then like the other dolphin, but they kind of grow out of it.
Yeah, I remember my youth.
Yeah, being a teenage dolphin.
Being a teenage dolphin, sneaking out, getting high.
Getting high off the
pufferfish.
Pufferfish, yeah. Well, I was gonna say. Maybe so this particular excursion, not exactly ideal with the focus on dead birds and sad times. Realistic, but not necessarily super fun. But
she had a pretty good outlook.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
You just seemed really upset. Not like really upset, but like your takeaway has not been particularly positive.
Well, I was promised a fun time with...
Okay, was not promised.
It was explained to be a lighthearted look at animals and maybe...
That's what it sounded like on the thing.
I'm not blaming you. You didn't know that we were going to be like, all right, everybody, so here's the reality of the birds. I was not expecting that. Also, a little bit of a downer that I was the only non-college student there. So, I tried to help, they were trying to document stuff. So I took pictures and stuff, and they have a form I could submit stuff in and to just document stuff. Because I did find one seagull that had a gimpy leg, and he was kind of, hopping around like he needed a little peg leg or something. Yeah. But he was flying just fine. So I don't think it really affected his ability to find food, but maybe just his ability to chill.
Yeah.
Sit. Maybe it hurt. I don't know if it was broken or just shrinking. It was just kind of like a deflated leg. Maybe he was born with it. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it's true. Well, what I was going to suggest...
Sorry, yeah, I completely derailed.
Is maybe we can see about going on like a herpetology walk sometime.
So for those, I know what that means. But for maybe the people listening at home, if they don't know what herpetology is, maybe, what is that?
Lizards and snakes.
Ooh.
Where you go on a walk and it's actively going to look and see if you can find snakes and lizards. Normally, because there's like bird watching walks. You can do a herp walk.
We did talk the other day about how I might be entering my bird watching era of being an old man.
Being an old man, I'm wanting to take pictures of stuff.
I need to get one of those safari vests.
Mm-hmm. Here's my thought. We need to go and be more active in general. We were wanting to have more activity in our daily life, and I think why not go out and go hiking with the intent of let's see if we can find some wildlife to look at and appreciate from a respectable distance.
Would that be something that we just do on our own?
Yeah, we could do on our own, or like if with like a herpetology walk, normally there's like somebody there which I would say maybe we go on a couple guided walks to learn stuff, and also we don't know where these things are now since we haven't been out and about.
I didn't know where the cormorants were, and now I do.
Cormorant.
Cormorants. We'll cut that part out.
Yeah, but we can go and support local naturalists who are trying to do. Well, I was going to say, stuff.
I thought this is what you were going to say, is finding more opportunities to volunteer.
Well, that too.
For not necessarily for wildlife conservation, but it's not a bad choice. But like in any way, like we were talking about doing beach cleanups, we're talking about doing
beach cleanups, trail building,
any sort of help that we can do to be a part of the community. And we are in a very good position, I'd say, to donate. I'd say the most thing we have an abundance of is time.
Yeah.
So donating our time to good things like
time and labor.
Time and labor, and we're obviously physically fit. We saw today how many squats we could do. Yeah, how good our form was.
We did squats.
Yeah, so just you be ready you getting that summer body ready?
We're getting our 70-year-old body ready.
Yes, we're preparing to be 70. Yeah.
So that when we're 70, we're still super hot.
I mean, I wouldn't mind wearing these shorts when I'm 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to do some ball exercises to make sure they can stay in your shorts?
Separtech's fine for
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's true.
Separtech will, no matter how low they hang, they will be
cradled.
And I might need to talk to Separtech to see if they have, maybe a larger pouch for if they...
Right, for
if
when
they,
you're like,
if
look,
there's extra skin.
I'm here for the next 40 years with you.
Size me up every, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Not in the penis area.
Just in the balls.
In the balls area.
In the balls, because, there's skin.
Right.
But you know what? Hear me out.
Yeah.
If they're always cradled, will they end up sagging?
I don't know. What is the physics of that? Is it because old men get warmer, so their balls are getting further away from their bodies?
I mean, I think it's like a collagen, like elasticity of
Is it the
skin.
same like in the cheeks and ears and maybe it's something like the nose and the ears where it never stops growing?
Oh, just the scrot. Though.
Just the balls, not the penis part. Just the.
Well, I don't think
the
the actual testicles are getting any bigger. It's just scrotal length.
Yeah. I wonder if dolphins have the same problem or any other wildlife. Do they get?
I mean, you ever like dogs?
Sure.
I'm trying to think of animals that we see on a regular basis, and there's farm life. Have you ever seen a older male goat that is intact?
I guess the balls are hanging down.
The balls are hanging down.
Yeah.
They're hanging down. They are swinging a low, sweet chariot.
You might be dragging on the ground if they hit a little anthill or something.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Ouch.
That's got to be rough.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Trying to be a goat and running.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, imagine being a goat.
Hey, there's a game for that.
Wait, there is. And a sequel. And I haven't played either of them.
I actually played Goat Simulator.
How'd you do?
I was a goat, They have Giraffe Simulator, too. There's like a giraffe option, which I think they call tall goat. You could be a giraffe.
Is it all the same things?
It's the same. You just have you're just a giraffe, so you've got a long neck, and I don't know. It's a dumb game. It's kind of like there's dumb little incentives to do things.
Right. No, there's goals and quests
knock things
and stuff.
over.
Yeah. Knock over the punk rockers having a party on the hill.
Right. Exactly.
Put your tongue on the bus. Anyway, you want to go get tacos?
I do want to go get tacos. Well, okay.
Just wanted to get that out of the way.
Overall, how do you feel post-event? Do you think it's changed your life? What would you go again?
I hate to say it again. I think that this also changed my life. In a completely different way than the handstand class did. In a completely different way than archery or, any of the other events that you've sent me to. And if anything, it's just given me a different side of motivation to be a part of the community in a way. And I feel like my biggest takeaway is not a depressing note. It's a happy one. I'm glad that humans can coexist. It seems like there's a huge emphasis, especially versus Los Angeles, where we used to live. There's a huge emphasis in San Diego about being nice to things around you.
Yeah. More respect for
there
the land.
There seems to be a lot more respect for people. Mm-hmm. People to people, people to animal, and people to land. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot more people are aware of this. I feel like there's so many people that we've talked to where, they may be involved in some way or are just aware, they're super excited about.
Okay, question for you.
Yeah.
Now that you have experienced an event like this, how does it ever make you reflect back on living in Arcata? Because these types of events were all the time in Arcata.
Oh, I can't even imagine what I missed out on.
Yeah.
I know that just in the marsh, they had walks.
All the time.
All the time. Every day. Yeah. Multiple times a day. The marsh, the redwood forest, obviously I did my own walking in the redwood forest. I probably spent hours just wandering around. But I never really stopped to look. It was either...
You're going somewhere.
Yeah, and it's so funny because, the redwood forest, like Redwood Park, for example, is right in the middle of Arcata. Mm-hmm. So like half the time you'd have to walk through it to get anywhere, or like we'd want to walk through the park to get to that big field that's in there.
Yeah.
You know, and we spent so much time walking up in those, just hanging out, and but there really isn't that much animal activity.
Well, not in the heavily populated areas. But like when there's a lot of foot traffic, there are definitely salamanders and mice and birds and that kind of stuff. They're just not super prevalent when there's.
That's the thing, is we never went flipping rocks.
Well, and not just that, but you're also not exactly being quiet. You weren't sitting and waiting for a while for things to come out.
No, we were teenagers.
You're teenagers. You're just kind of going where you're going to go, doing what you're going to do. But
and then as an adult, I don't know. I kind of stopped going to nature until we met, really. You know, you reopened my mind to...
Mm-hmm. When I took you to the beach. But, and here's the thing. Now that you told someone, hey, there's, don't feed the squirrels, or there's a sign here that says, you pointed out the obvious, that hey, there's a sign here, you're feeding the squirrels, and there's a sign here that says, don't feed the squirrels.
Yeah.
Was that empowering for you, by the way?
Because honestly, I was waiting for her to be mean about it. But, I was scared to say anything. Even though it was just stating the obvious facts.
Yeah, there's a sign here.
The sign right here that says "Don't feed them," but like I have never been that assertive of a person.
You didn't tell me about that earlier. That wasn't in the little bit of things that you had mentioned.
I gotta save some juicy bits for
you. I know. You hadn't told me about that, and it is very surprising to me because we've spoken a lot before about how you don't like confrontation, and that was genuinely a surprise for me.
Baby steps to confrontation.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that one time when we were sitting at the top of that one beach in Trinidad, and that I think the Italian family came up with a live sea star, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to take this live sea star home." And you're like, "Hey, you can't take that." And then, but you were so much more confident about it. You were like, you like stood up and you're like, you can't take that. And then you took it from him and took it back down to the ocean because he wasn't going to take it back down there.
Yeah, well, they had crab shells and they had a seashell, like a scallop shell, and they had something else. And I was like, you can have all the. There's a clam shell. Mm-hmm. I was like, you can take all those. You just can't take this live sea star. He's like, it's dead, and I was like, it's literally moving.
It's not dead, and it's going to smell real bad in your car.
It's not going to dry out like you're thinking it is.
No. But that's where I got the courage to say anything, because I thought of that moment.
Yeah.
And I, like, part of me was like, how assertive should I be? Should I be like, hey, stop feeding the squirrels? Or, like, what are you doing? Can you read? Like like so many thoughts went through my mind, and I ended up with hey, so you probably shouldn't feed the squirrels. The sign here says, I just pointed at the sign. I was like, the sign here says don't feed the squirrels. And I was like, I don't know.
Sometimes people just need to be like a little bit ashamed.
And it was in front of the people that she was with too. Yeah. I said it loud enough.
Yeah, that everyone's like, Mandy, don't feed. The sign says don't feed the squirrel.
And it's so funny because it seemed like the way that she came around the corner, it seemed like the only reason she was there to feed the squirrels. Because she so instantly just laser focused. She's like, nuts, feed squirrel. And I was like, there's other things to do here at the beach. I hope you didn't come here just for that, because I shouldn't do that.
I mean, hear me out. One of my favorite ways to change someone's behavior is by publicly shaming them in front of their friends. And when I was waitressing, I would do this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
If there was somebody who was talking, and there was like a group of 6 or so where it's a bigger table, and there's a restaurant I worked at, you had to read the specials. And the specials were complicated, and normally there was at least 2 or 3 dishes, and I'd want to say it for everyone to hear the one time. So I'd wait until I had people's attention. And especially if there was one person who wouldn't shut up, or who wouldn't, I would just be like, all right, would you guys like to hear about our specials tonight? And then a couple people would say yes, and I'd be like, okay, great. And I would just stand there. And I'd be like,
look at the...
And then, and they'd be like, and I'd be like, oh no, I'm sure it's important. I'll let her finish up. And because that person would be just talking, and it was a loud restaurant, so they'd be talking and like distracting. And I'd be like, oh no, I can wait for you to finish the conversation. I'm sure it's important. And everybody, they would all be like, shut up. Oh my God, shut up. Clearly she's working. Like, she's like, shut up and listen to the waitress. She's going to tell us the specials.
That is one thing I still
like, let their friends shame them.
I have never come to terms to understanding, from when I was serving or bartending, where if you approach a group of people and you're like, I'm here to take your order, you came here to eat food or drinks, and I will get that for you, and they ignore you and continue to have a conversation. You're like, what can I get you guys? And they're like, yeah, talking to their friend or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, do you want to go somewhere else? So you want to go outside?
I mean, if people were doing that, I'd be like, oh, it's clear that you need a moment. I have some other tables to attend. I'll be back.
No, usually I just walk away until they flag me down, and I'm just like, all right, cool. You're ready now? And they're like, oh, we haven't looked at the menus. Like, oh. Okay, great. I'll be back in 10 minutes. 20 maybe, 20 to be safe. Oh, I do miss it sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
let's not tangent on restaurants.
Let's not tangent again. I'm glad you had a good time, and I hope.
Yeah, I want to make sure to emphasize. Overall, I did have a good time.
Well, and I think it's kind of spurred some interest in wildlife photography.
Oh yeah.
And we were kind of talking about that because your pictures turned out really good. So go look at the pictures.
Yeah. And they were all just taken on my phone. Yeah. A lot of them at 5 times zooming in, which I'm very surprised at how clear some of them turned out.
Yeah. But I think, I think it'll be really fun. I think we can do more nature walks, whether it's just on our own or in a guided group.
Well, again, being in San Diego, there is so much nature.
Yeah. Bark, bark, bark.
Like dogs.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap up this episode.
I know. I'm starting to get hungry for tacos. I was promised tacos.
Well, thank you all so very much for listening. If you want to hear more from us, or maybe you want to hear it earlier. Maybe you're listening and you're like, this could be...
I could have listened to this a week ago.
I could have listened to this a week ago. You could be an early listener with our Fourth Wall memberships.
What else included in that? I honestly, I haven't looked in a while.
Well, there's behind-the-scenes content from our YouTube videos when we make them. There's also bloopers from the podcast.
Sure.
Because sometimes there's stuff that we can't all fit in there.
Why don't we make some bloopers after we end this episode?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Bloopers.
You're not gonna want to miss out on that.
No. They also get there's also the video.
The video, yes.
The video, which we will be uploading the videos of old podcast episodes to YouTube, but they will be months behind on getting to see the video, which is just us sitting in chairs. But, you get to see our facial expressions.
They're cool chairs, and we look cool.
Yeah, we look cool. I've got my old barkeep shirt on.
I've got a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah.
A Twitch tie-dye shirt that I really do enjoy the cut on.
Mm-hmm. And then if all you've heard is our podcast, and you're like, dang,
there are people.
They're real people who do things. What else could I watch of theirs? There's the YouTube, and then additionally, we stream on Twitch. Actually, is our
Twitch.tv / Nurse Huckleberry.
It's not backslash, it's a forward slash.
Forward. Oh, right, it's a forward. Yeah, backslash. A backslash would be wrong. Don't put a backslash.
Don't put a backslash. Forward slash.
We'll cut that part out.
Yeah. And
I'm not cutting it.
Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Do the fun cooking show. Yay. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. This has been Solo Adventures Together.
We'll see you in 2 weeks for an adventure I'll send you on.
Yay.
Can't wait. Okay, bye.
Bye.